Okay, so this is the follow-up video from the class on Monday. What we covered on Monday was a number of different Sevillanas and the actual form itself, and a couple of other different things like concerning, let's say, like the strumming patterns, the rajeo, and also like some of the thumb work as well. We covered technique-wise. So just to kind of start off like with the technique. Just so you get a clear view of it. We were doing a number of, let's say, rest strokes and golpes, or the tap on the tap board at the same time. So we were doing kind of things like this. Okay, so that was for an estribillo for the Sevillanas. So what we were doing is getting used to going with a downstroke with the thumb and doing a golpe at the same time. So we had, so that maneuver, you're hitting downstroke with the thumb and then a golpe on the tap plate at the same time. So you're going, okay, so that takes a while to kind of get used to. But what we had for the actual the stroke for the rajeo maneuver was the fan stroke, an abanico. So we were doing, so that's up with the thumb, down with the ring finger, down with the index finger, and after you go down with the index finger, that should bring you down to the position just underneath the strings here, where you can start the roll once again. So you're going up, down, down, 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 up. So that's up with the thumb, down with the ring finger, down with the index finger, and then you start the roll once again with the thumb going up, down, down, up, down, down. Now with the motion, if you want to kind of get a better kind of speed on it and fluency with it over time, the movement really comes from the wrist and a slight bit of the elbow. So when you start speeding up, you're going, once you kind of get to that galloping phase, that type of galloping, like a horse galloping, you can then start working on speeding things up. So you have, okay, so on a chord that would sound like, okay, so that was one part of it. Another part we were kind of covering technique wise was alzapua. So alzapua, once again, it's a plant, you're planting the actual, or doing a rest stroke, so you're going, so that usually goes across, let's 3 to 2 strings. The majority of the time, let's say you're hitting with a bass note, so it will be, so doing that slowly, it will be, just to kind of give you a kind of some examples of it, so you could be going, okay. One good kind of, let's say, way of kind of practicing it, and it's a technique you practice from another famous kind of flamenco instructor, Oscar Herrero, would be to just do something like a chromatic scale, going up and just doing alzapua. So you're basically going plant, up stroke, plant, downstroke, upstroke. And you can kind of build up the speed over time. But if I'm demonstrating the exercise that we did on Monday night, it would be, could go without the pull-offs. You could go. Or you can just go, sorry, without the pull-offs. You could have. Start on the next string, like yours is the A string. Or without the hammer-ons. And then down to the D string. So here. Just doing straight notes. Okay, so that exercise, as I said, you could do that, like for example, like with the hammer-ons and the pull-offs. Just by the single notes. Okay, so in flamenco, there tends to be a number of what you would call it's like a traditional licks or traditional like phrases where there's almost like a kind of a pivot point. Okay, so let's say if we're talking like a por medio, which is B flat, A, C. Okay, so a lot of the alzapuas you would be kind of around pivot points where you're kind of moving this, going along this bass line. So you could have something like this. And then you can have like pretty much the same thing like going on. Let's say if we're talking like por arriba, which is F, E, A minor, G. So you could have this as a kind of an alzapua. It's pretty much the same as the alzapua as in like a por medio, so you're going. So they will be kind of like phrases or licks for soleá, so you have. Okay, so these kind of like licks, it's good to kind of get used to these kind of bends or positions, like as in position points. So you're going. You can get a lot of stuff done, like go here. And then. So that would be one, let's say like a melody, like or it will be an escobilla or speed up, let's say for soleá. So that really kind of covers, let's say like quite a lot of the kind of the thumb work that we did. As regards the the specific stuff for Sevillanas, we were going. So thumb down, un golpe, and then an abanico stroke at the same time. Okay, so just to kind of explain the structure of Sevillanas once again. So we have an entrada, which is like an entry. This is like the part like where the two dancers or the group of dancers both come together like and face off against each other as the dance is about to start. So that phrase, it lasts about like 2 compasses, which is basically two phrases. Then you have what could be kind of like described as the salida or a llamada, which is kind of the call like to start the rest of the actual interaction of the dance, and that's usually either a melodic line, or B, most of the time it will be the singer like you're singing the first line or tercio of the letra. So la primera vez fue Sevilla. So, and then after that, let's say you would be going into the paseo, which is the first steps, and then the estribillo, which is the repeated phrase to accompany either the singer or the actual melodic phrase. So just to kind of put that in context, this particular one, which is in E Phrygian, so this would be the entrada. Okay, and then you'd have like the first like lyric of the line of the actual the song form, depending on which it is, or a melody. If you're just accompanying, let's say, guitar and dance, it will be the melody. So that could be paseo. Okay, so if you're playing the entrada and the llamada or the salida, it will be that other phrase after the melody. You're going first paseo. Okay, so that would be the first like entrance like for the dancers like to do their interaction or dance steps. Then you have the estribillo, which is the repeated like phrase like for that. So that can if you're doing just chords accompaniment for a voice, that's one thing. Most of what I would have shown would have been guitar related or guitar orientated on Monday night. So the actual phrases that we did for this, after let's say the salida, you had, so from here the estribillo will be, okay, so we had, sorry, pardon me. So we had so that phrase, breaking it down really slowly, you're doing a lot of hammer-ons and downstrokes with the thumb, so you're going. So you're doing an upstroke with the pinky, the index finger as well, so you're going. Repeat the estribillo once again. And then on the third paseo, you usually speed up a little bit because the dancers are usually speeding up, so you're going. Okay, so it's 3 times that you repeat that particular phrase, the estribillo. So the last thing when you are speeding up, so we're going here. then you cut the chords off. You do an apagato, or you mute the chords. So you're going. So you can either mute with the hand, or you can mute with the pinky finger. Okay, so it just depends on what you want to kind of really do. So that's the first one that we did, like you in E frigid. Okay, you can do the same melody line por medio, which is, so if we're doing, let's say, like the compass, so we're going. And then the entrada. Okay, the melody line like is the exact same. So doing that really slowly. So we have this kind of semi version of the chord where you can do the bar for the A this way. So you're going, doing the hammer on. Okay, the melody line once again, for the salida you had. So oftentimes, like, because we're kind of, let's say, planting, let's say, like on the A string with this one, you can do, instead of doing, let's say, the abanico stroke, which we did here, which is, you can go, so golpe and index finger stroke down. Okay, so so that's two Sevillanas that you can do which is the same melody. It's also very handy to actually learn the melodies in different keys depending on the singer's voice. You might not have a capo at the time to be able to let's say transpose keys as easily. But the next one we did was in A minor. So we had. And then we had the melody. Okay, so the entrada we had. And then the melody line for the estribillo. So that's one line, let's say, of the Sevillanas. So that's in La minor or A minor. So here. Okay, so I'm going to kind of stop the video now, and we're going to follow on, let's say, with the other ones that we did just in a second. Okay. Okay, and we're back. So the next set that we did was a Sevillanas in C, or which is this. Okay, so we have. Okay, so that's the entrada. Now we have the salida, which is this little lick. So we have. So once again. Okay, now we have the estribillo, which is the melody line. So that's a lines, and then a pull off, and then a hammer on. Okay, so that would be kind of the cut off point. So playing the melody line really slowly, we have. So. Okay, so that's a Sevillanas in C. The next one we did after that is a really popular and well-known, let's say, Sevillanas, which is called El Nano, which the lyric for it kind of refers to a little elf that someone marries. It's a really funny lyric, so it's worthwhile kind of looking out for it. But that would be played, let's say, here. Okay, so that would be the entrada. So we have. That would be another variation of it. So we have as the melody. Okay, that's the first part. Okay. So apologies for the stop there. I just had to plug in the mobile phone which I'm using for recording the lessons. So we were doing El Nano, which is the Sevillanas with the letras for the lyrics for that name. So we were going. Okay, so the call or the salida, it would be. Paseo. Oh, the estribillo. The E7, and then to D, and then. So really slowly, we have. E7, you do the estribillo like 3 times, and on the last time you would speed up. So just doing the whole thing like from start like to finish. So you'd have. And then you repeat it like 2 other times, and then usually like on the final run you'd actually speed up like once again. So just to be kind of like clear like once again about the composition in Sevillanas, it's an accompaniment for a dance and also for the singing. A number of times, you could be just accompanying a singer like singing for Sevillanas, which is part of the fandangos family, as in it's counted like in 6s or 3s depending on which way you want to count it. But it's a really nice straightforward like dance form to accompany. It's one of the first things that I would have accompanied on the guitar, like accompanying a dancer and getting used to it. And it's a fairly straightforward like traditional dance. So once you kind of you get the rudiments like under your belt, you can then start exploring some other ideas. But just from my own kind of personal experience, having played in Spain and having played kind of in bars accompanying some dancers, it's usually kind of best to try and work on how would you say, melodies which you can actually hear through a crowd or hear through singing. So a lot of the stuff related to kind of thumb work. People are going to be able to hear you through the mumbling or the muttering of a crowd or other people talking in a bar. So if there's 2 people dancing Sevillanas, they're going to be able to hear the impulse or the beat or the actual the sequence of the actual choreography really well. So that's just some of my own personal opinions on it. If you're playing, let's say, in a setting where it's an artistic setting like a theater or a culture space, and you've got amplification, obviously you can start doing things and compositions which are a bit more complicated and interesting. But it really depends on how far down the rabbit hole you really want to kind of get with it. But as a song dance form, it's really fun to play, and there's lots of different things out there. If I was recommending some things to kind of look at, Pac de Lucia's Sevillanas, Manolo Sanlúcar's Sevillanas. There's a Sevillanas by Moraito and Tomatito as well, which are really good. Very complex and lots of fast scales and lots of fast pacing with it as well. So they're worthwhile looking at and listening to. And if you want to kind of pursue, let's say you're doing more of that actually as an accompaniment or working on your technique, it's very much worthwhile. So I'll leave it at that. I hope you've enjoyed the recap of the lesson on Monday, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me or drop me a line.